A woman cooked Thanksgiving dinner for a man's entire family. She stood courtside through a losing basketball season. She showed up to every game, every red carpet, every moment that mattered to him. She made history on a Broadway stage. And when he allegedly decided monogamy was optional, she said exactly what happened to the entire world with zero hesitation. What followed was not just a breakup. It was a full cultural trial. And half of hip-hop pulled up to play judge without being invited to the courtroom. What came after that looked, to everyone watching, like something real. Workout videos together, fishing trips, catfish and spaghetti on her stove, him showing up at the airport with flowers, her cheering from the stands during a Dallas Mavericks season that went nowhere. She cooked that Thanksgiving spread from scratch, greens simmered overnight, homemade mac and cheese, full roast, and his father told her it was the finest holiday meal he had ever eaten in his life. She admitted on camera she was nervous because she genuinely wanted his family to feel that she loved their son. Then Saturday arrived, and so did the Instagram story. She wrote that he had been cheating, that he had her playing house with his entire family, that he had cold feet, that he put her through relentless mood swings through an entire basketball season, and then told her he wasn't sure he could stay faithful. Her formal statement was stripped of all emotion and built entirely on principle. Trust, loyalty, and respect are non-negotiable. When those things disappear, the path forward disappears with them. She was choosing herself. She was moving with clarity. He went boating. He appeared on an Instagram Live, steering his boat and listening to a 1987 slow jam, telling his followers it was good to be back on the high seas and that nothing beats the ocean. Not one syllable about Megan. Within an hour of her post going live, X, Instagram, and TikTok were flooded. Fans threatened Thompson's knees. Someone posted that the White House correspondent's dinner news didn't matter because the internet was concerned about Megan. Another person said that defending her online wasn't enough. They needed policy change. The story had escaped the entertainment lane and landed somewhere much larger. Because for millions of people, if a woman with Megan's fame, beauty, and loyalty couldn't be treated right, that said something terrifying about dating altogether. But it wasn't just fans. The men of hip-hop and sports media were already loading up. The Klay and Megan breakup had barely trended before Slim Thug went live to share his position. He said he hates to see it. He said he was never rooting for it. But then he said, this is exactly why he refuses to enter situations like that one. He told his viewers he cannot handle that kind of life. He wants to walk through the world without strangers following his every move. He wants peace. He wants regular. Now, the internet remembered everything. Last year at Coachella, he posted comments about Megan, so openly romantic that she addressed him from the stage the following weekend. Directly, clearly, in front of thousands. To clarify, she does not feel that way about him. He had previously declared he was being patient, that she would eventually come home to him, that her calling him babe on stage was practically a love confession. Then when she and Klay went public, he reversed completely, swore on his children that he had never once tried to speak to her, and said he saluted them both as a couple. And now, with Klay gone, he returned. This time as the man who has evolved beyond all that, who would never sign up for that kind of relationship, who saw this coming. The comment sections did not accept the rebrand. One person noted that Megan publicly turned this man down, unprompted, more than once. A third reminded everyone that she shut him down in front of a live audience, and he still came back. Wack 100 didn't ease into it. He argued from the jump that Megan should have read the situation from the beginning. His claim, Thompson was never emotionally invested the way she was, and while she was building something serious in her mind, he was simply living his life. Then he went further, accusing her of using the relationship as a calculated move to break into the sports industry, suggesting her footing in music had weakened, and she needed a new lane to operate in. He reached for Beyoncé. He reached for Rihanna. His point was that nobody ever hears this kind of messy public relationship drama attached to either of their names, implying Megan's situation separated her from that level of artistry. The comparison deserves a second look. One of those women turned her husband's alleged cheating into a Grammy-sweeping body of work heard around the world. The other's personal life has fueled tabloid coverage for 15 straight years. Neither of them has been exempt from public scrutiny. They just handled it differently. Whack 100's framing was the argument. Whether it landed is another conversation entirely. Mays received the news of the breakup during a podcast recording and, according to those present, laughed. His position: Meghan's reputation preceded her, and because of that reputation, she doesn't get the grace that another woman might in the same situation. He said directly that her reputation means she couldn't expect the good fortune of a committed relationship, then questioned whether Thompson was ever supposed to marry someone with her history of public relationships. Sass. Cameron stood next to that logic. He listed every notable man Meghan had been connected to: Partisan Fontaine, Moneybag Yo, Tory Craig, and used the list to question what exactly the expectation was. His broader warning: when you make your relationship public, you cannot be surprised when the public forms opinions about it. Neither man acknowledged that the person at the center of their conversation had just been allegedly cheated on. That detail didn't seem to change the argument. DJ Academics went public with his take immediately and without hesitation. He wrote that a man who won 4 championships was never going to commit to one person, and that Meghan should have understood the terms before entering. He framed Klay's alleged behavior not as a betrayal, but as something expected, almost inevitable, for a man of his fame and financial standing. He suggested Meghan had overestimated her position in the situation. He also posted that Thompson's next basketball season would likely be his best yet, implying that the relationship had been holding him back rather than lifting him. When the argument arose that Meghan had actually elevated Klay's public profile during their time together, Academics rejected that framing entirely. His counter: being associated with someone carrying her reputation didn't help Thompson's standing in NBA circles, and the men in those locker rooms, he claimed, were not impressed. The sports commentator dedicated an entire podcast episode to questioning one thing: why did she tell it publicly? Not whether it was true, not whether she was right to end things. Specifically, why did the world need to know? He argued that Thompson, regardless of what he may have done, is not a politician. He's a basketball player. He was a private individual until Saturday night, when Meghan made his behavior everyone's discussion. He asked what role she was willing to admit she played in whatever shifted between them. He noted that Klay looked happy not long ago, and suggested the question of what changed deserved more examination before the public verdict was delivered. His advice was pointed: stop expecting society to police your relationships. Stop looking to the public to hold people accountable. The Breakfast Club host said plainly that he would have told her from the beginning not to get too deeply attached to someone like Klay Thompson. His reasoning wasn't mean-spirited. It was practical. Thompson is an NBA player who is constantly on the road, constantly surrounded by access, and without a formal, lockdown commitment. Pouring everything into that situation was a risk worth naming out loud. He pressed the point: if someone hasn't made a real commitment to you, don't make a real one to them. Show up cautiously. Wait for evidence before you open up completely. He also questioned whether the public's reaction matched the actual weight of the relationship. They weren't married. There were no children between them. They had been together under a year. His argument: why was the internet treating this like a 20-year marriage, had collapsed. His co-host pushed back thoughtfully. She observed that for Meghan specifically, this relationship felt different from anything before it. She showed up differently. She let him into her world in ways she hadn't done publicly before. She cooked for his family. She stood in the stands through a losing season. That level of showing up, regardless of how long the relationship lasted, is not nothing. Charlemagne acknowledged the pattern Thompson carries, a dating history marked repeatedly by cheating accusations, and framed it as the reality of professional athletics. Men on the road, with resources and access, require a different kind of caution going in. Not everyone arrived to dissect what Meghan did wrong. Hot 97's Kid Miro called out every person, treating the breakup as a competitive sport, pointing out that celebrating someone's heartbreak as though a game had been won makes a person a genuine weirdo. He suggested that Meghan may have been a victim of love bombing. that someone as magnetic as Klay could lay it on thick early, create a feeling of safety, and then shift once commitment became the real question.